Hi, this is Stuns. Welcome to my weekly review for the second week of January. I'm trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is my trading recap, the trades I took, what I missed, how was my view on the market. My laptop seemed to not be stuttering from the last two videos I recorded, so I'm going to try to have my face on this one this time. 3 trades for the week. 1 break even, 1 loss, and 1 half loss. It's a bit of a shame because I had a really good feel about the week and I was confident on my trades and on just the outcome of the week in general. I think it was a decent week for trading. Sadly, can't get a win again. For those that has just started following, I didn't see a decent win since the 21st of October, which is quite a long time, and it's right after I started sharing my journey in Discord with friends, and obviously just starting YouTube last month. Nothing crazy to say about it. I think it's just variance, and I guess the market just I've been a little bit off the market. But I think my approach has never been that strong. My system is strong. I don't deviate from my plan. I don't really make silly mistakes. I think I'm really on the top of my game so far in my journey. So I guess wins are just gonna come at some point. It's just probabilities of trading, and this is exactly why I started sharing everything. Is that it doesn't always go your way, even if you think you're acting properly. Probabilities might not give you wins, and you might have to go through longer streaks of like loss or break evens or a little bit of struggles. But yeah, I'm not taking random trades. I'm following my plan all the time, so I'm still confident. Don't want to change anything. It's still a good week. Manage my downside properly with fees. It's a 2-hour loss, which is not bad at all. So yeah, let me go through my week. So here you have my TradeZilla accounts. There was a break even on Monday, loss on Thursday, and a half loss on Friday. But with the fees, because it was on Bitcoin, it just shows that minus 0. Almost 1 hour, but it was actually half a risk. You have my trades here. So the goal of this channel, the video I'm doing, is maybe not the first one, but be one of the rare few people that are actually backing up their trades and what they show with real data. So this is my evaluation account that I just purchased for the new year. This is all the trades I've done so far, which was only this week. Last week I didn't trade anything, didn't find anything good, and the first few days of January just did not trade, took that time off. Came back on the 5th of January. So all my trades are here, my executions. Let's go back through the week. My bias coming into the week was for Bitcoin to come up and retest that 50-week EMA first and go into this imbalance as well that we have here. So that's exactly what we did. And this is why at this point on Thursday I was looking for reversals. Given that as well, with the system, usually look for midweek reversal around Wednesday or Thursday, which is exactly what happened. Didn't have any crazy bias on the higher time frame on Ethereum. Bitcoin was my leading indicator. We had on the smaller time frame. So here I'm on the daily. Had those 3 drops. We have this W here, and then what I count as 1 rise and 2 rise. So here over the weekend we were here, and I was really expecting the week to push higher into that 50-week EMA. Maybe not that high that quick, but this was my target. All right, so as expected, laptop started stuttering. So let's get back to it without the camera as usual. So yeah, like I said, I was expecting on a 4-hour a bounce in this area. This white line is the 4-hour 200 EMA, as well on Ethereum. Was waiting for price to show a bit the direction and it tended to go. And what happened first is Bitcoin took the liquidity of the weekend. He took those lows, and Ethereum did not. It respected the supply area. So on the 1 hour, we had this candle and market open here. Just before market, the CME market open, sorry. And there is, in the past, in a couple weeks in December, I think, where I said that I missed that trade on the Monday. And sometimes on the 1 hour, you will have your entry, and it's worth holding for a few days of the week. Sometimes I don't go really far. It's a short trade, but it's a trade that works. So I implemented what I said that I will do and change. So this is a good point. I did enter on the 1 hour here on this trade on Ethereum because Bitcoin grabbed the liquidity. You want to go long on Ethereum that is looking stronger. Trade worked out pretty good. Went up first. My target were those highs, and it was lining up with 50% of the previous week as well. So it was a decent area to have as a take profit. Didn't go all the way here, and only retested like the prior week level. Bitcoin did take that liquidity, so at this stage I was thinking of closing my trade. It was only a 1 point. Oh, it was probably nay. Yeah, it was only 1 hour, but I was thinking of closing it, and I should have. The thing is, I could not think too much in here. I got a new job, like I said in my other videos, and I work from Thursday to Wednesday, and I can only trade UK every day after work. So here I was at work. I had managed to have some time on my phone and be pretty free to just analyze this and have a quick entry. That's why if I'm at work on my phone, something I used to not do, I'm happy to take those higher time frame trades because my entry doesn't matter that much. They don't have to be super accurate. So happy to enter here. Was thinking about closing, but I was only quickly checking on my phone, so couldn't make any decision. What I did though is, as soon as we moved here to protect myself, went to break even because this was the whole of Asia session, and I don't want price to go back into drawdown to keep going. I'd rather be stopped at break even and then re-enter later. So this is exactly what happened for this first trade. Got stopped at break even. Nothing crazy in UK, US, nothing happened. And so on Tuesday, I remember seeing, this is something you often see, is big manipulation on Monday. And then here we were holding the EMAs. So we ended up on Ethereum here, take the weekend stop losses as well. So both assets took liquidity, and here you have Bitcoin that was retesting, and it did create a nice W. This was a really nice entry. The thing is, at this time, so here's like 8, 9, I remember it's probably around there, like midday. Yeah, midday 1. I was looking at this and I was like, it's gonna be a trigger, and the thing is, I went back. So here it is. It was way better on Bitcoin than Ethereum. Ethereum is still sitting below the EMAs. And right here, I remember this gray candle was when I was having lunch. I was like, oh, I need more. I need like this second leg and a retest to enter. And this here would have been a very nice entry. The thing is, I was already back to work and really busy. I work on boats, and I can't be on my phone at all while I'm working, unless we're just steaming somewhere. And because I'm not the captain, I can be on my phone for a little bit. Yeah, after that, came in UK, no trades, nothing crazy in UK on Tuesday. The mistake that I did is I looked at other coins, and all right, back. I was trying to show XRP. So before, when I was trading Bitcoin and Ethereum, I used to scroll through a certain list of altcoins to see if there was, because sometimes there's really clean setups on them. I just decided recently to only focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But on Tuesday, London session, I was scrolling through and I saw XRP going through this fair value gap, and at the same time retesting 200 EMA 4 hour, which is a strong EMA. And I went back to the lower time frames, and one of my really good setup presented, which is we started the week here Monday, took the lows of Asia in London. US only retested higher, and then here you have a inverted hammer. So all this is trap traders. Big consolidation here, move out. This is where the buyers took control. Price comes down and retests this area. A plus entry. This is a really good setup. This is not a trade I took. I had this when I was looking at it because I was at home. I was tempted to take this trade, so I've just placed it there. I did not take it. The thing is that usually 2 hours into a trade, if nothing happens, I would exit and try to re-enter later, and I would have expected price to move up higher this way. And 2 hours into the trade, I was still around here. So still respecting some key area here. But yeah, I don't know if I would have exited the trade or not, but it ended up playing out beautifully. I would have never thought we would just have this massive run all in US session. So first target would have been here, those highs, 3.4 trade. That would have been nice. So regretted this a little bit. Wednesday at work, nothing crazy. Came in UK, nothing crazy here. I wasn't so tempted because this looked toppy and we already arrived into some areas of interest. I wasn't so keen on longing this W formation out of Asia and UK, which is another decent setup I like, but did not enter this trade at this point. I thought we were overextended and maybe the upside was limited. I went to bed right after that. I think I did wake up for US, and when I woke up here 1:30, the move already happened, so went straight back to bed. Thursday I was at the chart, and this is when I took my first loss. I thought the top was in, had divergence between Bitcoin and Ethereum. I was thinking that because we didn't form an M formation here, I was really thinking that maybe we're just gonna retest this 50 EMA and keep going down. Same on Ethereum. The thing is, this area wasn't so much of a key area. There was a bit of a liquidity grab. On Bitcoin it was the 50 EMA, Ethereum was 50 EMA as well, but nothing other than that was just high value of an area. Like we were still above 50% Asia, and here we were same in no man's land. If we did grab 50% of the previous day and Asia highs, they would have been maybe more confident. But yeah, entered aggressively on this trade because sometimes they just drop, and I didn't want to waste time waiting for a perfect entry. Entered on this, got stopped out pretty much straight after. And then when we finally moved up, so here Wednesday, that's when we get the reversal during the week usually. So midweek reversal, Wednesday or Thursday. This move kept going up in UK, and I thought the reversal was going to happen in US, which it often does. And I'm going to be honest, I tried to wake up, I just couldn't wake up. This is my first day after work, and I do 11 hours per day for 7 days. So the first following days, I'm usually really tired, and yeah, waking up at 1:30 at night was too difficult. The entry on Bitcoin wasn't so clean, but on Ethereum it was a pretty decent scalp to take. I'll drop down to the 5 minute. So I have drop in US, drop at start of US, and here you have a beautiful M formation retesting the daily open. The EMA is 50% Asia. There's a good short in it. You had to be not too greedy because whatever you were targeting before, it just didn't go to that. It didn't go there. Whatever you were targeting, if it was Asia lows or anything, didn't go there straight away. If you were to protect yourself going break even, could have likely been stopped out before price went to your target. So not too sure if I was to trade, if I would have taken this trade, what would the outcome would have been. This is the thing with hindsight, you never really know. Came Friday, good setup I like as well. That come from one of the coach of the group I was in before. Is you have your US high, dead gap zone before Asia, can't break the level. Asia rejects again, it can't break the level of the dead gap. Usually get a good short. Same here on Ethereum. So what happened here is Ethereum was actually, so this was a better trade than the trade I took on Thursday, so the day prior. Because here I had my W1-2 levels up into this supply, and I had my M formation here at open. Yeah, so here I was really tempted to enter this trade, and like on Thursday, this is what I did. I had an aggressive entry. I could have had an aggressive entry here, but you stop here or here, but here was really nice. And I saw this, and I was really tempted to enter, targeting the lows down here. Great trade. And I thought to myself, because I got burned on the previous day, where if I had waited an extra candle for confirmation, I would have probably not taken that trade. Here was the exact opposite. That's why trading is not setting stone rules. You'll have to find a good balance. So I waited an extra candle, and suddenly like price was here. It was not a good trade anymore for me to take. So I waited to see if I could get a re-entry, something decent. And it did happen on Bitcoin. So here on Bitcoin, I had 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejection. This setup here, that was the same as Ethereum. We retested higher. So you have this evening star pattern and this consolidation. Well, right after the evening star pattern, I thought it was a good area to enter. Entered this trade. Didn't go anywhere crazy at first. Retested this zone, and so I have my rules of 2 hours. If we haven't moved into profit, I would likely cut my trade or bring my stop loss very close to price. We were all the way down there, and at this point, neither Bitcoin or Ethereum here broke the previous, broke this low, and it's really rare in my opinion that assets would do double bottoms, but they did here, and the fact that none of those two took the liquidity got me worried a little bit. I already had, you can see here, a rule that if I were to get a candle close below this point, I was happy to move my stop to break even. Because we didn't break below, and I'm like, maybe we're still gonna come up and retest the 50 EMA here, which was where my entry was. I didn't want to go break even, so what I did is I just put my stop here to this high, and eventually we went back higher. These are the risks of taking a trade on Friday. Friday is not the best day to take trades unless you wait for US, but usually same. It's not usually, it's often Asia and London won't give you a good setup. That is why as well I try to focus a lot on mastering my entries, because if I would have entered here, so it doesn't have to be super aggressive, but a little bit more. If I nail my entry here and price doesn't go to my target, honestly, if my target was here and I would have seen price in that region, I'm always happy to cut my trade before my TP if I'm happy, because look at this is already 3.5 3R, like at 3R I'm more than happy. And after a few candles and not going anywhere, I would have definitely, like, I know I would have closed that trade. I would have not wait for price to hit my TP. But anyway, what my point was that by having a very good entry from the start, you can go break even really early, and it's good protection because price shouldn't go back up this way. And if it does, and I'm break even, I'm still happy to re-enter that trade later on. And then that brings me to the Friday US trade. I'm not so keen to take trades on Fridays, but when my setup in US in relation to Asia and London presents, I will wake up and I'll be keen to take a trade. And one of those setup is usually on Friday. You'd have London that makes a fake move and then retraces against that move. When it doesn't and stays, so you see here, London did not take Asia highs nor Asia lows. Same on Ethereum. Then you would expect US to move with strength. This is what it did here at open. I had this trade here. I saw it on Bitcoin. I was actually looking more at it on Ethereum because my previous trade that I took, I'll show you there. Like I've got a better win rate on Ethereum, and the fees on Bitcoin are just way too big if you try to scalp. If your stop loss is very small, the fees are massive. And I'm just going to show you this in a minute. So there you go. Coming back to my trades, you see here already on this trade on Ethereum, we got about $90 of fees on a $500 risk trade. And here on Bitcoin, because it was a small stop loss, I'm on $160 of risk on a $500 trade. And I did allow for a little bit when I placed my position. My risk was about $450 or $60. So a little bit of margin, but 160 is it's way too big. It works out to be 30% of my risk. It's huge. So if I'm on very low time frame, I'd still rather trade on Ethereum if I can. If the setup is really good and better on Bitcoin, I'll still do Bitcoin and I'll swallow the fees. But in my opinion, it's just not worth it when you have a really tiny stop loss. Yeah, so here at open, you have big rejection and those two hammers. And this trade seemed a little bit too risky, in my opinion, on a Friday to take. And the risk to reward wasn't huge neither. Didn't know how far we would go. I think I had this target in mind down there, which was pretty decent, but same. Not so keen here. Probable manipulation. It's very early in the US session. I'd rather wait like an hour in, which is a little bit better. Then price shoot up. I was really happy I didn't take this trade. And when this shot down, so on Bitcoin, it's definitely too late. You can't enter out of this. The risk to reward is less than 1 hour. And here it was I had the same opinion on Ethereum. Even if I was putting my stop here, target down there, like a 2-hour trade is good enough. The thing is, nothing was telling me that I was gonna go that low. But it was a good target anyway. And just did not take that trade. I stayed up a fair bit later to see if we had a retest in this zone and probably another entry, but I did not get that, and just went back to bed with no trades. The other scenario when it's like this is if you have a big move down, wait for the candles here to retrace about 50% of it, and if you take a limit entry here, then your stop loss is smaller and then the risk to reward is better. But we did not go down that much here on Ethereum on this Friday US session, so no regrets. So yeah, that was my week. Could have been better if I had more time and wasn't at work on Tuesday, and if I had taken that trade on XRP as well. Sadly, it is 3 trades, 1 break even, and 2 losses. I'll see you next week, and yeah, still going strong.